power of unity, the dignity of difference. Matawa First Nations Annual Spring Gathering. Each year we come together in the spring to talk about our communities and the challenges and opportunities facing our people. In 2013, over 120 Matawa community members participated in the gathering. This year the focus of the discussions centered on a proposed regional strategy framework. Our communities are facing unprecedented changes due to resource development coming into our territories. Our communities are facing many challenges and also many opportunities. Some of our issues are local, but some can be better addressed by joining together in a regional approach. The first day of the gathering opened with our chiefs laying out their vision.
What I'd like to talk about is the opportunities that we're going to be discussing for the next couple of days is on that regional approach. I think if any time to do it, now is the time to do it, because I think we need to be heard. We need to be, I guess, given direction from the community as to what we want.
When our ancestors signed the treaty, they didn't sign away anything. They signed a treaty to share whatever we had. And today we don't have nothing.
We have our vision. We have our beliefs in our community. We believe that asserting our rights is the main thing, how we achieve those issues that we're talking about today, and working with the government on government-to-government basis. That's how my community gave us direction to work towards how we get there, and this is how we're going to get there. Meeting with the rest of our people here in the Matawa First Nation area. And the regional strategy that we did the other day, that's the direction that we are given to go. So anyways, with that, I want to say thank you all.
A draft regional negotiation strategy framework that had been developed in Martin Falls by the Matawa Chiefs Council was presented to the delegates. The delegates broke into community groups to discuss the draft strategy and to talk about how to move forward together on region issues. Communities presented their findings at the end of the day.
It's certainly an opportunity. We have to move beyond that now. We have to start really asserting these sessions to make sure that we have, a concrete plan, framework put together so we can move on, build from these sessions.
Okay, land management, the issue is trees, bush cutting destroys the traditional medicines, lack of capacity, example, technical people in the First Nations. Government doesn't recognize treaty rights or Aboriginal rights. Example, legislation guidelines. Solutions, consultation and accommodation protocol, which we have, and we're in one with Premier Goal.
On day 2, delegates participated in plenary sessions with industry and government. In the morning session, the chiefs led the question and answers with industry.
For giving us the opportunity today to talk to you more about our project in the Ring of Fire.
For a bit of a quick update, we'll go through our project, so to refresh people's memory.
I'm coming here today on behalf of the China Metallurgical Exploration. We call CMGB back in Beijing, China. And CMGB is one of the biggest organizations focused on exploration in China.
Delegates also had the opportunity to ask questions of industry or the chiefs.
What we want is like a guarantee about pollution from the material that will be extracted from underneath the ground. Because this is just a very short question. Because in the very near future, after operations begin, we don't want to we don't want to feed our children, our nieces and nephews and everything fish with 3 eyeballs. We want to feed them with normal fish, normal food that we see today. So that is my question.
Presentation, that slide, is there any trap lines there identified, and is there any like the traditional medicines in there as well, you know. And also, you know, I'd like to mention that, you know, I'd like to see the communities benefit from if this development happens, you know.
I'm going to ask this question to our Asian industry here. Looking at TV news and all that, we see that China's environmental legacy is not that great, plus their industry accidental records are not too great. I'm asking, are you changing your practices when you're coming to Canada, or you can simply ignore our environmental legislation? Thank you.
Needs to be committed
In the
to
afternoon, the Minister of Northern Development and Mines,
in no way
Michael Gravel, along with his staff, joined the gathering.
they are driving the decisions that are being
The chiefs and delegates had the opportunity to listen to the minister and to ask questions or make comments.
recognize that this project will not go ahead.
Michael Gravel indicated that the Premier was interested in developing a process for regional negotiations.
Partnership with the Matawa communities, and particularly the communities, obviously, that are close to the Ring of Fire development. That's why we want to work with you related to the proposal that you presented to the Premier 2 weeks ago, and that's why our initial response is what it is. And I hope we can have further discussions about that.
On day 3, the Matawa chiefs met before the delegates assembled for the morning session.
And we have first.
When their meeting was over, they came into the gathering to begin working on the next steps with the delegates.
I mean, that she's not here.
Elders, women, and community members spoke about the future and about what is important to them and to their families and communities.
Of land, and because if we don't get anything from it, how are we going to survive? I'm getting concerned about what we should have owned. I'm starting to get concerned that they will design how they want to use the land.
The land impacts will be in terms of the habitats in the area and the river system. That's gonna have some impacts on the mining activities.
Throughout the gathering, the chiefs heard over and over how the people were concerned about the environment and the impacts on the land, water, air, and wildlife. The delegates wanted to ensure that health and social issues are also addressed in a regional strategy, as well as education, skill development, and training. Community members expressed the need for training more environmental monitors. Resource revenue sharing was another important issue to the participants, as was communications, community engagement, appropriate consultation, and developing the capacity to respond to industry. The people expressed very clearly that information had to be provided to communities in their native languages as well. A report from the gathering has been developed which provides the details of community discussions and the issues that the participants felt need to be addressed in a regional negotiation process. Matawa CEO David Paul Aknepaniskum gave his closing remarks.
Let our people speak. The best part of communication is to listen. And our elders teach us that. Because in order for you to be a good leader and to help your people, you have to listen and put those words into action.
Chief of Constance Lake, Roger Wesley, addressing the delegates on behalf of the chiefs, assured the people that they had listened to what had been said throughout the gathering, and they would be moving forward immediately with 3 steps.
Out of that meeting came an action plan. We're writing a letter to the Premier Wynne. We're also writing a letter to the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, demanding that their environmental assessments come to a stop immediately until they deal with us. We're also drafting up a terms of reference, as Minister Gravel announced yesterday. We will draft that terms of reference, not Ontario. We're also putting together a budget that's going to incorporate heavy grassroots, community-based discussions so that everybody from our communities will have a chance to have a say in how our future is determined. And that's how we're going to plan this.
Since the gathering, the regional strategy preparations have begun. The Matawa chiefs announced that the Honourable Bob Ray would be their chief negotiator in a community-based regional negotiation process with Ontario. The Premier of Ontario, Kathleen Wynne, has formally committed to a regional negotiation process. Technical teams made up of Matawa First Nation community members are working with advisors and support staff to develop a structure and budget for the preliminary phase of the regional strategy negotiation process. Our First Nations are uniting to work on their common issues while maintaining their autonomy and community processes. As resource development moves into Matawa First Nations territories, our First Nations are preparing to meet the challenges and benefit from opportunities by standing together in the power of unity and the dignity of difference.